Okay, you guys, I am super excited about our team Zoom tonight. For those of you who are new and maybe don't know me, I'm Lindsay Winkler. I'm Presidential Diamond. I have been in the business, it'll be 8 years in May, which every time I say it, I just feel like it's totally insane because as you guys have heard me say before, I never expected this. I literally joined for $200 a month and had no idea what I was doing. I just did what my enroller told me to do, and it kind of blew up. So, before we get into our guest tonight, I just want to hit on a few things. We just finished the month of February, amazing month, super exciting. So many big things happened. For those of you who are just getting started with us, I know you're probably just getting familiar with some things, kind of planting those seeds, kind of learning the ropes of everything. For those who've been in a while, I know it's just been like boom, 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 lots of crazy things happening. And for those of you guys who haven't been in before, or maybe haven't been into this time of the year in this business, this is like our boom time. This is the time of the year where things are just insane. People are wanting to hit those New Year's resolutions, they're getting tax returns, there's just all kinds of different things. They're wanting to get summer ready, and our business is just booming. So I know myself, I had one of my biggest months last month that I've had in a while. And it just really, you guys, I didn't do anything crazy. I was doing host to post about the products, and I was asking people that were doing host to post for me about being a distributor. That's what I was doing. And I just kept it super simple, super consistent. There's lots of things that I can share with you guys, but I don't want to make this about me tonight because I'm really excited about our speaker tonight, and you guys get to hear from me all the time. So as I see everybody hopping on here, really getting our numbers up, I'm excited. So we're gonna have our speaker hop on. So you guys, I don't know how many of you guys were on the Destination Diamond call last week, the Destination Diamond Zoom, but we have one of my new distributors, Becky, and I'm gonna let her say her last name because and how I say it in my head probably isn't the real way to say it, and I don't want to like embarrass myself. So we're gonna let Becky say it. But Becky joined last month, you guys, in February, and she totally rocked it. And I'm just so excited. Like I said, I know Amy talked to her last week, but she's my personally enrolled distributor. So I know some things that I would love for her to share with you guys that I can pick out for her to share. So whether you guys are brand new and hopping on your very first Zoom tonight, or if you've been in the business a while, I'm just super excited to hear the things that Becky's going to share tonight. So I'm going to unmute you, Becky. I think I did. Okay. Okay, wait, Becky, I don't think we can hear you.
Hello.
Oh, now I can hear you. Okay. Hi. I am so excited. Becky's been running around like crazy. I spring these Zooms on her the last minute, so I make her nights like really fun when she gets on these Zooms. But Becky, why don't really quick, you just tell everybody, like introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, have kids, everything like that, really quick.
My name is Becky Venhoven.
Okay, so I say it right.
Yes, yeah. I'm from Wisconsin. I have two kids, 16 and 20-year-old, and I've been married for almost 22 years.
That is awesome. I'm so excited. Okay. So, I know you're nervous and like, it's okay. This is Becky's like second Zoom ever, and the second time she's ever spoke on a Zoom. So the first two times she's been on a Zoom, she's had to speak. So I feel like I still get nervous, and I've been doing this for almost 8 years. So big kudos to Becky. Okay. So Becky, really quick. So let's talk. So you just joined last month. So you actually were a distributor. I can't remember if it was like 5-6 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer.
Probably 5 years, I think.
Okay. And I'm Becky. So Becky was like on my team before, but she wasn't enrolled by me. And it was probably when I know it was newer, when I was newer in the business as well. So I was still learning to be a leader and talk to my team and things like that. But I did recognize her name. However, we stayed Facebook friends. So Becky, really quick, like, why don't you talk about like, you don't have to get too in depth of what happened last time or anything like that, but I know maybe last time wasn't good timing for you, but you kind of like went and tried something else before, but you kept on watching my post, right?
I did, yes.
Okay. So what made you we have like lots of conversations and you guys, I'm really like wanting you guys to hear these things because I know so many times we think because people aren't signing right away or because they're not maybe having conversations with us that they're not interested. And Becky and I like talked multiple times and a lot of times she would kind of just shoot me down.
Sorry.
Yeah, but why but like you were still watching me. So just so everyone kind of like watching can get a better idea, of maybe where their potentials and stuff are at. Was it just because you were like nervous? Did you not know if it was something you really wanted to get involved in again?
I just feel like the first time I didn't have any success and I didn't want to have that happen again and waste my time, I guess.
Yeah. But you were still watching and we were still having those sporadic conversations. So it wasn't like it was something off the table. You were just like
No.
really nervous.
Yeah.
So I think so. What finally I think did it was I had made a post and you contacted me, but and I can't remember if you didn't have the money to start or you just didn't want to spend the money to start because of your skepticism. So you actually pre-sold samples to get started.
I
Yeah.
did.
So you guys like that's something too. Like, and I love that. I forget about that option all the time. But yeah, so Becky like didn't want to pay the $39. So I threw out the option of, hey, how about I give you this post? We can work on selling some samples to help you get started. And I think even after you sold your samples to get started, you even had people wanting some after the fact. So you were still able to sell some after the fact. So Becky was able to start without paying the $39 out of pocket. So okay, so Becky got started. Remember, she did this before. She didn't really go anywhere with it. And so, Becky, talk about like and I know what you're going to say, but I want you to just be honest. What did you start doing once you got started?
You mean like how when you were telling me to post
Yeah,
things and I was posting?
yeah, just
Yeah.
like
So
that simple. So you guys like so Becky, and if you ask her, it was really funny because earlier this evening I said she was putting her entries in the host to post, and she said, "I don't even know my ID number." Like that's how awesome Becky is because she literally jumped in and just did what I said to do. And I feel like not in a bossy way, but if I told her to post something, she would get out there and post it and she would come to me and ask questions. So, Becky, like, how do you feel like, okay, so what were you doing? So that was what you were doing. You were posting, right? That's the only thing, because we've done host to post a couple times, but for the most part, you've just been putting up posts and people have been contacting you, right?
yes.
Yeah. So, and then you even had, so something that's really awesome. So I think last month, I know like on the Destination Diamond Zoom, you had signed 13 loyals, but you might have even have signed a couple since then before the end of the month, right? So,
Yep. Yep.
she had at least 13 loyal customers. I want to say probably 15 or 16 you ended the month, if not one or two more. And you guys, she signed 2 distributors. This is all by herself. She did this by herself. And so here's the thing. I didn't tell Becky about asking people to be distributors. She just did it. So Becky, I want you to kind of share what did you do whenever you did that? Because I didn't tell you to go ask people to be distributors. You would just come to me like, hey, I think I have someone want to be a distributor. I'm like, what? Like, what? So tell everybody, like, how did you do that? Like, what did you do in that moment?
I had known a couple of friends that wanted to make extra money. So then I just contacted them on the side because we were doing the $39 startup again. And I thought, well, they could sell samples like I did and get their free startup. So I just contacted them and they both wanted to do it. So
Yeah. So, and was there anything in particular that made you want to contact them, or were they just friends of yours, or did you think, okay, I think these 2 people would be really good at what I do, or they would really enjoy it, or did you just like just kind of think and be like, they pop up on your timeline, you're like, I'm going to ask those people.
they're friends of mine. And one of them, she's very outgoing, like energetic and excited about things. So I knew she would be good. And then the other one, I know she's getting married soon. And I thought, well, this is a good way for her to help earn some extra money before the wedding.
So do you remember what you said to them, like when you asked them? Because again, I didn't tell her to do this, you guys. I don't even think I told her how to ask these people. So like, because, and I'm asking you this, Becky, because I know for new people especially, but even people who have been in the business a while, asking people can be so like scary. Like it's just something you almost have to amp yourself up for. And the fact that you were doing it like in your first month without even guidance, I'm like, you're just like awesome. So do you remember like what you said to them when you asked them about it or brought this up to them?
I, I don't fully remember. I think I just asked them if they were interested in making extra money and that I had just joined the team and that I was having a lot of success. And I figured if they came aboard the team that they would have just as much success as I did.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And like I just like that though. And I think probably at the same time, because you didn't have like a script or anything you followed, you were just being you and you were being
Yeah,
genuine and authentic. And they like sensed that. And they were probably like, okay, like Becky's gonna bring this up. Like there must be something to it. So, and I just love that because it was almost like you were just you. You just thought, why not ask them? Were you like nervous when you asked them? Were you afraid they were gonna say no? Or were you like, whatever, I don't even care?
I just figured the worst they could tell me was no, and at least I tried. So that's why I went for it.
Becky, you're just like awesome. Well, I need to remind myself of that. But no, that is like so awesome because I love that. And I feel like so many times we just get in our own heads when we overthink it. And you were just like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to ask. And I think like for people that are new and people that have been in a while, that's just hearing that's just like a reminder of like, we just have to ask people because, and then so they both joined and now you're kind of helping them start their business. And again, like you guys, Becky just joined last month and she's signed all these customers, she's signed distributors right now, and she's helping them sign their customers and start working on building their team. And it's just really exciting to watch you do this. What do you feel like is different this time around than the last time? Like what do you feel like, or you feel like you're doing something different? Do you feel like it's just like timing? Like
I I think just when you're giving me the posts and I'm putting them out there, I feel like maybe the wording is better than what it was the first time around and people just seem more interested, or maybe they've heard more about the product before this time
yeah.
around.
And that could be totally it. And shoot, I could have probably gave posts before that you used, and my wording probably wasn't very good back in the day. But I think too, it's just like, and I think, and I don't remember when you were distributor for, because I can't even say that I remembered if you like. Do you remember last time? Did you post? Like, did you try to do the things, or did you feel like you kind of like got down and out pretty quick, and you're like, whatever?
I know that I posted when the person I signed under or whoever, however it works back then, that I would post things, but I just feel like nobody responded and it kind of was disappointing that there was nothing happening because
Yeah,
I was all excited and then I was like, well, this isn't going anywhere and
yeah, and that's like
this time
totally
it's way
like.
different.
Yeah, and then this time it was like you posted and you had people come out of the woodwork. But I do know, and Becky, I'm going to kind of call you out for a second because there are days where everybody don't like let Becky fool, like she's a real person, even though she seems super amazing and like she's like this, but she has her days too where, because I just want people to know that too. Becky has her days too where she doesn't talk to people or she doesn't sign someone, and I have to remind her, hey Becky, they're still watching you. And Becky will be like, oh, I'm going to use this example. I gave my link to 2 people last night and they did not order. And I tell her, I'm like, Becky, and she'll come back a couple hours later and be like, oh, guess what, one of those girls ordered. And I'm like, so again, I'm saying those not to pick on Becky, but I want you guys to understand, like, this is all of us. So if you're ever out there feeling like, oh gosh, like I'm not talking to anyone today, or man, I gave people my link, but they're not ordering yet. Don't let that like get you bummed out, because just because they're not ordering right this second doesn't mean that they're not going to. I remember when I was newer, I remember sending my link out to people. And as soon as I would send it out to people, I would be like sitting here, like on my phone, like checking eSuite. And I'd be like, okay, where are they? Like they said they were going to order. Like, why have they not ordered? And then I'll go message them and they'll say, oh, I'm going to do it next week when I get paid, or, you know, whatever reason. And I'm just like, okay, well, you didn't say that. You said you were going to order. So we just have to remember sometimes that we can't get into our own heads. But one of the things that Becky does is every single day she comes back and puts up another post. So even if she has that moment where those people didn't order, she's not letting that slow her down. And, you know, the next day she'll put up a post and she's talking to new people.
Yep.
And I love it. So what do you feel like has been the biggest, and maybe I kind of already asked this, but I'm asking it in a different way, I think. But like the thing that you can say joining this time, what do you feel like has helped you the most get going? Like, what do you feel like you're doing that's really helping you be successful right now?
I'm posting what you tell me to.
Okay. So we're going to we can dissect that a little bit. So what we think of that is posting every day. And then another thing is you're doing the things that your enroller's telling you to do. So for those of you guys who are new, like just thinking about those things, if you're new on this team and you're thinking, man, I really feel like I want to get going. I really want to get this. I want to be successful. Stop and think, okay, am I doing that? Because like I said, Becky, we're not lying whenever Becky's like, okay, someone said this, what do I say? And I tell her to say this. And then she'll be like, okay, well, now they said this, what do I say? And I tell her what to say. And while, you know, I know Becky hates to do that because she thinks she's being annoying, it's not. She's learning, because now Becky isn't coming to me on every single time someone comments on a gummy post, because she's learning. You know, she's starting to learn how to have those conversations. So if you guys are new, or maybe you're not new, maybe you're like, I just can't figure out what the heck I'm doing. What is holding me back? Like, why can't I get to that next step? Just think about, talk to your enroller and be like, hey, can I send you some screenshots? Hey, can I send you some messages that I'm having with people? Because like Becky just said, you guys, that's what she can say that she's doing, is keeping it super duper simple. And she's not trying to know everything right away, even though sometimes she wants to. And I tell her, I'm like, Becky, you got to slow down. We're not talking about that yet. But she's not, she's taking it step by step. She's asking me and she's just learning. And the thing is too, she's not afraid. Becky knows what she wants, even though, oh, we didn't even talk about this. Like, why did you join when you started?
I joined for the discount of the product.
That's right. So Becky literally joined you guys to get the discount. I remember having that conversation. And I'm like, well, and then, but I said, hey, what about getting your $150 shopping spree? Because you had been wanting to use the products. And I thought, well, what if you can get your shopping spree? And you like the sound of that. And then it turned into this, you know, you kind of, and I think, and Becky, do you think whenever you joined, and you said you just want to join for the discount, did you think that that's really what you wanted to do and you really didn't want to work the business? Or do you think you were just nervous or kind of like afraid of not doing well like the last time?
I think I really joined for the discount, and then you gave me that first post and I was like, oh, okay, I'll post this and see what happens. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my, maybe I should really do this.
But that's just so awesome. And I love that you were just willing to just try. Like, and I feel like the biggest thing was, okay, well, what would happen if you just try and you didn't work out? Okay, you still get the discount. You know, so
Right.
and I want you guys, like, again, like I just love, I was excited to talk to Becky because I just feel like so many of the things that with Becky's story so far are just so many things that so many of us can either relate to ourselves or we can relate to people that we're talking to. And I hope as if you're listening to Becky share some of these things, you can think, okay, maybe I have someone that I'm talking to that maybe is saying this. Maybe I can throw out the option to sell their samples, or, you know, maybe like they're just like, I'm not really want to do anything. Maybe I can throw out the option to do that shopping spree, because you never know, like, especially with Becky, prime example, you never know once someone gets going, what's going to happen. And now, you know, Becky's boxed for Ruby. She's her second month, and not even her second, I'll say like her, not even her first full month yet in the business. And she's boxed for Ruby, you guys. But Becky's like so ready to go. Like she wants, you know, she's running, and I'm just so excited. And Becky, so like so what would you say your goal is right now? Like, what are you working on? I guess I said Ruby, but do you feel like you have a goal more than that? Or like you see more things happening, or are you trying to just like take it a step at a time?
Well, you had told me to take a step at a time, so I guess I'm just gonna focus on each step as we go. But I mean, who wouldn't want to go for the top? So
Yeah, but so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I can say for you and even like everybody listening is, if you're someone who's wanting to go to the top, guess what you have to do? You have to start at the bottom and you work your way up one step at a time. And by working, by Becky working on going Ruby, guess what? That's also building on her going Emerald. But as she works on that, it's going to build on going Diamond. You guys, so one step at a time. So I know so often it's easy to like get all kind of boggled down and think, I don't know what I'm doing. Just take it a step at a time. When I joined this business, I didn't join saying, oh, I want to be a presidential diamond and lead a team. I was like, I want to make $200 a month. Let's see what happens. But again, like just like Becky did, I just did the things my enroller said to do, and I took it a step at a time. And I'm just super excited. I was going to look really quick through the chat and see if anybody had any questions. um People are loving it. So Caitlin is nervous and she said you're inspiring her. Becky, were you nervous when you started? Like one, or are you still nervous now, like
yes,
in the business? I'm not talking about on the Zoom, but I'm talking about, you know, do you still get nervous when you talk to some people about the products or the business?
not really. I don't know. I mean, I get nervous if I don't know what to say, but I just message you and then you message me back and I feel confident in what you say and I just tell them.
Yeah. And I mean, I just love that you are just so, you keep it so simple. And I just think like, and you're just willing to do it. Like, I'm pretty convinced that if I was like, Becky, go out in your yard and do a headstand, it's going to get people to sign up. You would be out there doing the headstand. Even if you're like,
Sure.
I don't know, they can do this, but that's like so exciting because it's just, you're so willing to learn. And you guys in this business, that willingness to just learn and take direction from those in a place where you want to be, that's like seriously going to take you so far. And just be willing to do the things. I always make a joke and say, if my enroller would have told me to lick peanut butter off the sidewalk because it was going to help me be successful, I would have done it. And I would have done it because I was like, they know what they're talking about. I'm going to do what they're saying, even if I think it's nuts. And I know a lot of times the stuff I tell Becky, I know she's thinking I'm nuts about some of the stuff I'm saying, but I'm like, just trust me, just do it. And usually she'll say, okay, I'll just do it. So Becky, what do you have like as we get ready and end this? I can't believe it's already like been just about 30 minutes. What would you say if there's somebody on here that's like super nervous, or maybe they just got started? What would be your tip as someone who was also new? What would be your tip for them?
I would just listen to whoever signed you up or whatever are you called a leader? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
So you're a leader, right? So I guess I would just do whatever my leader told me to do, and that seemed to work for me.
and you probably will say also asking questions. If you're not comfortable with something or you don't understand something, ask questions. So,
Yes, I asked lots of questions.
yeah, and that's what we want you guys to do. I know as we wrap up here, you guys, like that's something like I know myself and I know the other leaders on our team, like we want you guys to ask questions. That's what we're here for. We want to help teach you guys, the things to do. And it really gives me joy to help all of you. So, really quick, so Judy, like it said in the chat, just keep planting seeds. People are watching, and that's so true, you guys. Just because you're talking to people right now and if they don't sign up doesn't mean they're not going to sign up in a month or two. So just remember, the more people you talk to, the more seeds you're planting, and that's just that many more people you're going to have to talk to in the future, in the months coming up. So all right, Becky. Well, thank you so much. I know everyone loved the Zoom. I loved having you on here. I just think you're the bomb. And just keep doing what you're doing because it's super exciting. It's super refreshing just to see your I feel like just your attitude and just your like you're just ready to jump. You're ready to go in, you're ready to run. And I'm so excited for the things that are coming because I know there's like huge things happening. So thank you for being on here tonight. And I'm sure like you're like, I never want to get on another Zoom again, but you just keep doing your thing, girl, and you're going to be doing lots of Zooms because you're like awesome. And we love hearing your like the tips and the things that you're doing and just keeping it super simple. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. So we're going to hop off of here.